What is the covert narcissist most ashamed of? By the end of this video, you're going to know what the covert narcissist's deepest sense of shame is. Hey there, I'm Rebecca Zung. I am an attorney. I am a narcissist negotiation expert. And on this channel and in my videos, I teach you all about narcissists and how to negotiate powerfully with them so that you can become way more powerful and shift the dynamic and finally feel like you can go on the offensive with them instead of feeling like you're constantly on the defensive. And if that's something that you want to do, then I would suggest that you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell. That way you'll get notified when I upload brand new videos. Okay, so let's talk about shame. Obviously, you can't talk about shame without talking about Brene Brown. She is the queen of shame. I always think it's funny when you talk about her. She tells a really funny story about how when she was on an airplane one time and she didn't really want to have a conversation with the person next to her, and the person said, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And she said, "Oh, I talk about shame." And the person was like, "Oh, never mind. I think I'll just take a nap." But basically, she distinguished shame versus guilt. And she said that shame is I am bad versus guilt, which is I feel bad. So shame is just deep down inside. I feel that I am at my core inherently bad. There's something seriously wrong with me. And that really is the essence of what is going on with a narcissist. Unfortunately, that something happened with them when they were children. They weren't born narcissists. Nobody is born a narcissist, by the way. I mean, when we're born as babies, we think the world is a pretty good place. We're happy and fine and all is good. And all of us are born thinking we're good. There's nothing wrong. And that's how it should be. That we were actually born pretty good. Lots of different possibilities. And we were meant to be here. And I tell people that all the time. You were meant to be here. The chances of you being you were like 1 in 10 million trillion or something like that, which is kind of incredible. So it's really sad what happened to narcissists and to a lot of us. The world beats us up. Something traumatic happened in their childhood that made them think that something was really seriously wrong with them. And they really just decided that the world is a scary place and that they're in a world of survival at the most pathological level. And I always have to say, at my like PSA, my message to you empaths out there: no, you can't fix them, and no, you can't love them back to health, and no, you can't stay with them and fill that dark black hole of void. From everything that I've read and all of the psychologists and psychiatrists that I've spoken to, they can't be fixed for the most part. I mean, the level of self-awareness that they would have to have and the amount of therapy that they have to go through to be fixed is a lot. And most of them don't bother. And if they do, sit in therapy, most of them don't respond well to it. So I'm just telling you right now that your chances of sitting around and waiting for it are probably not very good. So I'm just saying right now, don't think that that's going to be the best solution for you. So that's just like my little aside there. So going back to the issue in hand, which is what is the covert narcissist most ashamed of. All right, so that's the focus on the behavior, which is shame is I am bad. Okay, so they're ashamed of who they really are. And remember, their image is their obsession. And that's, what I teach is like how you create leverage and the strategy around how to create that leverage. My SLAY strategy, leverage, anticipate, and focus on you, is around that, because their image is their obsession, because they feel completely worthless deep down inside. And everything that they do is this cycle around trying to focus on how to have everybody not see the fact that they feel completely worthless deep down inside. They don't even want to have anybody see that half the time. They don't even want to see that half the time. They lead these double lives. They don't want anyone to know how much they have this self-hatred thing going on. They feel like nothing inside. And so they do everything they can to layer on all this external stuff outside all the time. And that's why exposure is their greatest fear. And like I said, that's why, the greatest leverage against them is exposure. And I talk about that all the time. That's that diamond level supply is how they look. So, and if you want to know more about the covert passive aggressive narcissist, I do have a whole video on that subject, which you can definitely check out. But, in my SLAY methodology, creating that strategy, leverage, anticipating, focusing on you, the greatest leverage is potentially exposing them. And that the reason why is because their deepest sense of shame is they're deeply afraid of being exposed. But hey, if you are so ready to slay, I definitely want you to write slay in the comments right now. And you should be ready to slay because it is time for you to take your life back. Okay, so I want you to write slay in the comments. But the sad thing is that they really are actually their own worst enemies because they're never going to get help. And they end up making all kinds of mistakes in negotiations because of this craziness that they engage in. This constant cycle of projection and deflection and constant lies. I mean, it's got to be exhausting for them. I mean, you can have compassion for it, but you can't help them. But they engage in this constant, projection, deflection, and lying and denying and all of this stuff. But they're doing this all the time so that people don't see who they really are, because their deepest sense of shame, the thing that they're the most ashamed of, is that they have this deep sense of self-hatred. The deep sense of shame is, I am bad, that I hate myself. That is, and I say that all the time, that the narcissist is way more afraid of you than you are of them. And when you start to push back against them, they will start to eventually back down. They're always the worst right before they're ready to give up. That is what happens. I mean, it's like a 2-year-old having a tantrum on the floor. They always scream the loudest right before they're ready to give up. But they do always end up giving up. So don't you give in. I mean, they only win if you give up, right? So if you are negotiating, make sure you grab my free Crush My Negotiation Prep worksheet at winmynegotiation.com and join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. You can definitely grab that. And make sure you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you like this video, give it a like, give it a share so other people have access to this information as well. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Rebecca Zung. And make sure you stick around because we've got lots more for you right here on this channel. And remember that today is a great day to start negotiating your best life, as always. And I will definitely see you in the next video.